They say the left hand, it drop mountains. They say the right hand, be slaying dragons.
Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game is missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BC, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, guys, so we're going ahead and getting our day started. Sunny skies, blue skies, gray skies, snowy skies, it don't matter. We'll get that good boxing talk in for you guys, and you guys gonna have some good old pristine southern beauty in the backdrop as we talk about this fight that just got made, a fight that just got switched, if you will, because my main man, 50 grand, the IBF Featherweight champion Angelo Leo, he was initially slated to fight his voluntary defense against Lerato Dlmiani from South Africa, 21-3, good fighter, But nothing's ever been easy in Angelo Leo's career, right? He doesn't get the luxury of voluntary defenses. So he's in that fight his second consecutive mandatory challenger, because right now, the champions are busy or being decided. Nick Ball's fighting Brandon Figueroa in February. Rafael Espinoza, who knows what he's going to do, Maybe Angelo can fight later on in 2026. And Bruce Carrington and Carlos Castro are fighting for the WBC strap. So the opponent has changed. He's not fighting the South African no more. It's been reported by BoxingScene.com in conjunction with the fine folks at ProBox TV that Angelo Leo will now be taking on his IBF mandatory challenger, the Beast, Ra'eese Aleem. And I gotta say, man, this to me is I would say it's about a level and a half above what Lerato Dlmiani is. When you check under the hood and you look at the career of Ra'eese Aleem, really and truthfully, he's a guy that's never had anything handed to him. He's 23-1. That one loss, that one blemish was against Sam Goodman in Australia. He was the B-side fighter, and that loss could have easily been a win. It was a close fight. He was in the fight, but he was on foreign soil, and he left it too close, and he wasn't on the right side of that decision. So, really, you could look at Ra'eese Aleem as an undefeated fighter. This is a guy in Ra'eese Aleem back in the day, when Vic Pasillas was making noise and was supposed to be a big thing in boxing. He knocked him out, right? He knocked him out as the underdog, and Vic Pasillas was never the same. Same thing, he fought Marcus Bates. Marcus Bates was a fighter that had some good hype as a prospect. Aleem fought him 2 times, and in the second fight, knocked him out. And Marcus Bates never boxed again. So Ra'eese Aleem, quiet as kept. He's a guy that's ruined a couple careers. Went to Japan recently, fought Makita Nakano, one of the hardest punches in the division. Had his finest hour, counter-punched him, dropped him, right? So this is not an easy fight for Angelo Leo. And one thing that I think Ra'eese does have going for him going into the fight is that, there is familiarity. These guys sparred a lot. And so it's not a gimme fight for Angelo Leo. But I like this for Angelo, because a guy like Ra'eese Aleem is going to help bring the best out of him. It's going to, help take him up a notch. And I fully understand, look, if we're just looking at Ra'eese Aleem's career, this is a guy that was in position for multiple big fights. He was in position to fight Stephen Fulton. Fulton had bigger names and better money on the table for fights like Inoue, and he was trying to get the merge on Undisputed. So Fulton never really looked his way, right? That wasn't a fight that Stephen Fulton took. If you were ever going to accuse Stephen Fulton of avoiding or ducking a fight, the only fight I feel like you would have a legitimate case for, or one of the only fights I would say Ra'eese Aleem at 122, and probably the Angelo Leo rematch at featherweight. But nonetheless, he couldn't get the fight with him. He was the #1 contender for merge on. He might have even been his mandatory. Couldn't get that fight, right? So this is his first world title shot, 35 years old, coming off the biggest win of his career in Japan. He's going to be at his absolute best. And when I break down the fight, Angelo Leo, I think, is the most complete featherweight in the division of the champions. At featherweight, he's a real boxer puncher. He can move, he can box. He gets beat Tomoe Kameda on foreign soil with just his jab alone. He can knock you out with one punch, like he's done to Bernardo Lopez and Mike Plania. Very, very devastating fighter, right? I think this is a fight that has the potential to be one of the more difficult ones, just because of that familiarity and the fact that Ra'eese is a good fighter. But I just think that Angelo's a half a level to a level above Ra'eese. I think Angelo, better technical fighter. I don't think that was always the case. I feel like, if this fight would have happened back when Angelo was at 122, like pre like Aaron Alameda Angelo, I would have actually said Ra'eese Aleem was probably the better technical fighter. But Angelo's developed over the years. He's gotten better. And I don't think that's the case anymore. I think at featherweight, Angelo is the bigger puncher. I think he throws more punches. I think like they're neck and neck in a couple departments, but I just think Angelo has matured and developed to a point where, I'd give him the edge in certain categories. So I think in order for Ra'eese to win this fight, as good as he fought against Nakano, he's gonna have to be about a level better than that, right? And for Angelo to win this fight in convincing fashion, I also think he's gonna have to deliver potentially one of the best performances of his career, because Ra'eese Aleem is gonna be up for this fight. Like, this is it. This is the shot at the crown. This is the shot at the brass ring. This is a guy that's never been handed anything on a silver platter, right? And Angelo and Ra'eese have kind of been linked throughout the years because of opponents, right? When you look at it, right? Because initially, when Fulton and Angelo were supposed to fight for the title, Fulton pulled out because of COVID. Aleem was slated to fight Tremaine Williams on the undercard, and Angelo actually wound up getting Aleem's opponent, Tremaine Williams, on short notice to win his first world title. So you have that there. They both have fought Mike Plania. In Ra'eese's fight against Plania, he won by decision. Angelo knocked Plania out in a couple of rounds. I think it was like 2 or 3 rounds. It wasn't that long. Who else is there? I feel like I'm missing someone. Might be missing a guy. They both fought Eduardo Baez. Ra'eese won his fight with Baez, but it was a little closer. I think he won by like majority or split. Angelo won by a straight UD. So look, they've been in and around each other for years, and so now they finally get to square off and see what's what. A win here for Ra'eese puts him in a whole nother stratosphere. He would achieve his dream of becoming a world champion, and his pay grade would certainly improve. For Angelo Leo, he can ill afford to lose this fight, because, if he loses this fight, I mean, for Christ's sakes, for everything that's good and righteous and pure, these champions don't even want to fight him with the damn belt. So it's like, I can't imagine how hard it would be to get fights without a belt. So, this is going to be a second consecutive IBF mandatory. He wins this fight, he's going to be freed up for quite some time, and it'll give him an ample amount of time to make big fights with the likes of Rafael Espinoza, Nick Ball, and or Naoya Inoue, if he wants to come look in the IBF direction when he inevitably moves up to featherweight. So it's a big fight. In my opinion, I look at it as a big fight because I know how good of a fighter Ra'eese Aleem is. I give him his respect. Lerato Dlmiani was a fight that was signed, and that was supposed to be the original fight. Then you had Luis Nunez, quiet as kept. A lot of you guys don't know this, but I'll put this out there. Luis Nunez was an opponent who was floated around out there. He was named as a replacement opponent. He's a good fighter. He's 22-0. I believe he's 4 in the IBF. Maybe that's a fight that Angelo has to take down the line. But with all due respect to Dlmiani and Luis Nunez, they are not on the level of the beast, Ra'eese Aleem. To me, this is the best fight possibly available to Angelo. So it's a good 3-fight run, if you ask me. You fought Venado Lopez to win the world title. You defended it in Japan against former world champion Kameda. And now you're fighting the guy that, Stephen Fulton and Mirja Akhmadaliev had in position to fight them all those years ago. And, they didn't want to really give Ra'eese a shot. So who gives him a shot but one of the realest champions currently in the sport of boxing, Angelo Leo. Really good fight. Ra'eese has never been definitively beaten. He's never been dropped. But there's a first time for everything. So I'm going with Angelo Leo. I just think everything Ra'eese can do very, very well, Angelo does a lot better. So if Ra'eese wants to beat Angelo, he's going to have to fight the best fight of his life, because he's dealing with the best featherweight in the world, in my humble opinion. And those big fights, those blockbuster fights, those fights those truly legacy-defining fights that Angelo Leo has been searching for, that really are not being given to him, even despite the fact that he does deserve those fights. You know, they'll go up in smokes if you don't win this fight. So I got Angelo Leo winning this fight by stoppage. First time for everything. So leave your comments down below. What do you guys think? Any of y'all gonna go with the upset or Ra'eese Aleem? Let me know. Get it on record now. You know, get it on record now. So that way, if you're right or you're wrong, you know, either credit can be given or criticism can be dished out. And likewise, I'm out here telling y'all what I think is gonna happen. I think it'd be a very good fight. But class will tell over time in the mid to later rounds. So anyway, you leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.
Thank you for watching True School Sports.
Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports empire, the home of boxing. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, guys. So help us keep being great. Help us keep pushing out that real boxing content for the fine folks all around the world. And make sure you jab, you hook, you Mike Tyson, you Mayweather that subscribe button. Pops, show them how do they gotta hit the subscribe button. Pop, pop.